I've drawn a guide on the interfacing of where I want my fabrics to blend. So I want to do dark blue on the bottom, then medium blue, then light blue, then light teal, medium teal and dark teal. Always make sure with fusible interfacing that you have the bobbly side up. The bobbly side is the glue side, so you want to be putting your fabric onto the glued side of the interfacing. Press this down, make sure that you don't touch the interfacing with your iron. Continue laying and pressing to finish off the whole fabric. Anything that's overlapping, I'm just going to take a regular school glue so give the whole fabric a good press down using glue on any of the overlapped edges. I wanted to put a strip across the top and I actually have a piece, fortunately, in the teal, so I'm going to press that onto the top edge to finish it off. Pellon Flex Foam, and it's the same foam that you get in car roof linings. So I'm going to use this. You could use quilting cotton batting, fusible interfacing. And I'm just going to put this aside for now because I want to draw on the fabric a grid line for quilting. I like to do diagonals, so I'm going to put my 45-degree line on my ruler here along the straight edge of my fabric, and I'm just going to draw my first line. I'm going to do 1-inch lines. Now I'm going to quilt smaller than these 1-inch lines. I'm probably going to quilt another 2 lines in between those 1-inch lines because I want to catch all the edges. So that quilting took 5 full bobbins and 5 hours to complete. Now we're ready to move on. Yay! Oh, I'm exhausted. I think I'm going to carry on tomorrow. Press it, and this will get rid of the ink marks and also help all the stitches lay flat. And there I have a very unique piece of fabric. Going to attempt to try and draw a dragonfly. I'm going to cut these out in fabric, and this is going to be our template. Now this frog I just printed off the internet. It was a free colouring page printout, and I got mine from easydrawingguides.com. Cut out the fabric pieces using the templates. I've decided to interface the parts, so here I've got lightweight fusible interfacing. And I'm just going to use this Teflon sheet to stick those down. Cut out all the pieces. I cut the fabric into 2 pieces and they both are 20-inch square. So I'm just going to put this one aside for now. I'm checking the sides and the bottom, and I'm allowing 2.5 inches at least all the way around. I copied the lines onto the frog with a heat erasable friction pen. And I'm going to use this just to temporarily put these pieces down. I'm just using a regular straight stitch. Now I'm going to do it a couple of times and I'm not going to go over the same stitches. I want it to look like a sketch. So this is the exterior pocket. It is 20 inches by 10.5. Find the centre. Now I'm going to come down 1 inch on that centre. Draw 8-inch line, 4 inches either side of that centre mark. And now I want to come down another 1/2 inch and do the same. So an 8-inch line. And make that into a box. Mark the centre of my outside fabric. Draw a line down that centre. And I want to line this pocket, lining up the centre marks, and pin that in place. When you sew in a box for a pocket, you want to make sure that you're sewing on the lines, keep them as straight as possible. When you get to the corner, leave your needle down and pivot so you've got a nice sharp corner. For this, small stitches are better. And we've just done nice corners all the way around. Draw a line straight down the centre, bring it in 1/4 inch from the end and draw a straight line and stop 1/4 inch from this end. Draw out the corners like that. Carefully cut along that line through both fabrics. Just cut in to the corners as far as I can without cutting the stitches. Give this a press, push that through the hole, flip it over and pull it all the way through onto the back. Make sure that you roll the seam to the back so that you can slightly see the front fabric. You don't really want the lining fabric showing the seam at the front. Give it a good press. It is going to be bulky because we have the foam underneath. Top stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around that opening. For top stitching, I like to use this foot, and it's got a straight edge called a stitch in the ditch foot. I run the straight edge along the edge, along the seam, and I set my needle at 1/8 of an inch. I have a stitch length of 4.0, and I'm just running that straight edge along the hole. And what that does is gives you a nice neat edge all the way around. Bring the bottom of the pocket up and pin it into place, pinning through the lining fabric. Flip it over and roll the main fabric out of the way. That's why I've put my pins sticking out, so that I can grab them to move them while I'm sewing. Make sure that you backstitch at both ends to secure the stitch. Finished slip pocket. You could put a flap over that, or you could put a zipper in there before you sew up the back of your pocket. 8 pieces, and they're 6.5 by 2.5 inches. So I'm going to do 3. Lay them right sides together and sew a 1/4 inch seam and join them all together into a strip. Press the seams open. Three inches by 2 inches. Find the centres. I'm lining the template on the seam. So I'm going to sew from this mark here along those drawn lines and stop at this mark here. But I want to pin it, and I want to make sure that my seams are matching. Put a pin through that seam and a pin through that seam, and that will pull the 2 seams together. Do that for all of the seams. Cut into those corners without snipping the stitches. I'm just folding back this one edge and giving that a press. Now I'm going to flip this right sides out. Push all the points out, and we're going to give it a press. Draw 1/4 inch line, biggest that I can, basting stitch along that line, making sure that this end is tucked under. Tie off the one end, push the raw edge into the folded edge to close it up, and I'm just going to go and stitch down. Cut out your circles. I've got 2 inch medium weight fusible interfacing and 2 inch the foam, and these are 3 inch circles of fabric. Put the fusible interface in, just centralise it on the back of the fabric and press that down. pull it slightly, take the foam and place that inside to give it a bit of padding, and then pull the circle together, bringing in the sides and just sewing across the back just to hold it all together. Put that over the centre and then large base stitch that down, making sure that I'm covering all the raw edges that I want covered. I don't want to see the gathering stitches underneath. Now these are just temporary holding stitches. We're going to remove these. I've cut 3 1.5-inch strips on the bias, and that is just a 45-degree cut across the grain. What that does is it allows the fabric to stretch. You have to be really careful that you don't stretch it out of proportion. And now I've got some scrap greens, and this is the template for one of the wings from the dragonfly, and I'm going to use that as a leaf template as well. Now this is the back piece that has the pocket. Take the strips, fold them in half with the wrong sides together so the right side is facing out, and give them a press. And then open it out and bring the sides, the raw edges, into that centre fold mark. Fold that in half again to create a folded strip, and just give it a really good press to get nice crisp edges. Do that for all 3 pieces to make sure that the pocket underneath is up and out of the way. Now I have to take in mind the 2-inch strip all the way around here. So I'm just going to draw a rough chalk line. So that's the one leaf, and I'm just going to repeat for the other 3 leaves, and then I'll sew the stems on. Blanket stitch around the centre. That's sewn all the layers down and covered the gather in the middle, and now I'm just going to do that for the other 2. Remove the large basting stitches go and sew the dragonfly down like I did before. I have 2 strips of fabric that are 36 inches long and 3 inches wide, and I've got a bunch of scraps fusible fleece that I've cut to 1.5 inches wide, and I'm going to lay that down the center of the strip and press that down. So make sure that the sticky side is down, so the bubbly side is the sticky side. And repeat all the way down the strip, and the same for that one. Repeat the same with these scrappy rolls. Now I'll show you how to make these on another video. These are my blue scraps, and this is a 3-inch roll, and I'm going to use this for the other half of the strap. I've cut these down to 2 inches wide and 36 inches long, and we're going to do the same that we did for those. Flip them over to the back. This is 1 inch wide, and put the fusible interfacing down the centre and press that down. Now I want to press the sides over along the edge of that fleece in towards the middle, and I need to do this for all of the pieces. To put the straps together, we're going to fold over and put one on top of the other down the middle. So you've got 1/4 inch either side of the bottom fabric overhanging. Just centre it down the middle, making sure that the raw edges are in the centre. I'm going to sew down both of these edges. I'm going to take my needle far over to the left as I can, and I'm going to do a stitch length 3.4. That centre edge of the foot, I'm running along the edge of this top fabric. I'm going to put those aside. Take one of the lining pieces and put the other one aside, and we want the right side facing up. Mark the centre. So now I've got a nice centre crease. Now this piece is 10.5 inches by 12.5 inches. The 12.5 inch line, fold that in half and bring the right sides together. That gap's probably about 3 inches, so we want to sew all the way down there and down there. Trim the corners and flip right sides out. Give it a press and mark the centre. I've top stitched along that top edge. Now I'm matching the centres. 5 inches down. Got the open edge here at the bottom, and I've drawn 2 1.5 inch lines because I want to divide the pocket so I can put pens in there. So I'm going to sew down here, cross and up, and I'm going to go up and down these to divide the pocket. So we have our pockets. I have a nice pen pocket here and here, and then this is a large pocket here. Put the linings right sides together, and then draw 2 inch squares at the bottom corners. So we're going to sew down both sides and across the bottom, leaving the opening in the middle at the bottom. Mark the centres of your outside pieces and then measure 1.5 inches down and then 4 inches out from that centre mark. So that's 4 inches out from the centre mark and 1.5 inches down. Take a strap and lay it right sides facing down just under that mark. I want to draw a 1.5 inch line . Pin it down, and again this side, so there's my mark. I want 1.5 inches drawn line across the strap. Sew that down, repeat for the back piece. And I'm going to go and sew that down on both of those and then repeat the same for the other side. Sew around those 3 edges. So we're going to sew the corners, making sure that the seams are open. And repeat the same for the lining. With the bag wrong side facing out and the lining right sides facing out, put your lining inside your bag, matching the side seams. Tuck your handles down in between the lining and the outer. We're going to go and sew all the way around that top edge. Open out your lining from your bag, take these corners here and these corners here, flip those over . So these corners within the seam allowance. Find the opening and turn the bag right sides out. And sew up this bottom edge, the lining. Press the lining down, rolling the top, the lining doesn't show on the outside. top stitch around the outside edge. It's a nice big tote, and it measures 18 inches by 16 inches, and it's 4 inches deep. That pocket is 9 inches deep.